Well, hello and welcome back to my channel, Darcy's Witchy Charm, and glad you're here. And I thought today we would go through some of my fairy decks that I'm currently using or have on hand that I plan to work with, hopefully sometime soon in the next coming months. So a lot of these I'm sure you probably have already seen, so I'm just gonna do kind of a quick walkthrough. But one of my absolute favorite decks ever is going to be the Enchanted Forest. And if you didn't know, they are currently working on the Oracle deck, which is supposed to be out sometime in 2024. But it is definitely one of my favorites. It's not really a fairy book tarot deck per se, but it definitely is one of my absolute favorites. And I'm just going to kind of skim through the cards. This is the backs, which have the owl on there, which is my spirit animal. And if you read reversibles, then it's there, but I don't read reverse cards ever. So anyways, so these are just some of the cards. It has absolutely beautiful artwork, and I've been following along the artists. Every now and then we'll put up sneak peeks of certain oracle cards that she's been working on for the oracle deck. So that is very exciting. I can't wait to see it all come together and be able to order the deck. Now, this card, the Two of Cups, this by far, for whatever reason, is my absolute favorite card in the whole deck. And if you read the description, it's talking about, for me, it's talking about the light and the dark, two friends coming together from different worlds, maybe, but I absolutely love this card. But you've got all different the colors, but the color scheme kind of stays within like the reds, the golds, the greens, and it's just it is absolutely beautiful. Then you've got the white raven here. He's pretty cool too. Wouldn't that be interesting to actually see one of those in person? Don't know if they really exist that anyone has ever seen, but that would be cool. So yeah, here's our white heart. He's on the cover of the book. So that's cool. Cool little frog. Reminds me of the dude from Return of the Jedi, Star Wars. But you've got dragons in here. You've got different, you know, the old, the young. You've got some animals in here. Lots of different water features, some bears, little dragons. So yeah, so this is, oh, there's the white raven again. He shows up. This is a really easy deck to read. It's pretty straightforward, I feel, for the readings that I do for myself. I mostly just do for myself. I've done a few readings for friends, but nothing too much. I usually try not reading for others because just for myself, it takes me forever to kind of like process and read about the cards, look at the cards. But this card always reminds me of home, the salmon. I grew up and lived in the Puget Sound, Washington area for forever, and that card reminds me of home. We've got all the little animals here, the Animal Council. But yeah, it's just a really easy deck to read. If you're looking for a nice, gentle but straightforward deck, I would highly recommend this deck to anybody. And then, of course, you've got the Weaver of Challenges, which she is the queen. So that is the Enchanted Forest deck. And yes, I did edge it in green as well as the book. So there is that one. And then this one, the Shadowscapes Tarot, is really nice. This is a bag that I actually won when I was in doing lots of planning, into planner stuff, and it's actually for a smaller like planner to keep your planner in there, but I use it for my tarot cards. But this is a nice, really pretty deck as well. The artwork is beautiful. I did edge this one also kind of in a grayish lavender color, and I also did the book as well for this one too. This is the backs, kind of has kind of a different design. You can see that. A lot of you probably have already seen this one as well, but I think it is beautiful. It's nice. It's in like pastel colors. I haven't really worked with this deck too much. It's, again, a nice gentle deck, just like the Enchanted Forest one, at least, you know, in my opinion. It's got lots of different imagery within each card, like that's the Hermit. It's got dragons in here, unicorns, mermaids. So this is a deck that I actually work with spring and summer, because once we kind of get into, and you've got like the fish with the mermaid, once we get into the summertime, I will also be then kind of switch over and be working with kind of like my ocean and mermaid themed decks. This one's got a phoenix on here that's, you know, in her nest, and it's really pretty. Little foxes. It's fun sometimes too, just to read your cards intuitively and just kind of go by what is in the card, what do the images to you mean, especially for whatever you're asking the cards. And I have that one. It's got like kind of like a goddess with the lion, strength. And you've got the two little birds down here. No. Sometimes people think that the imagery on some decks are too busy, but I love how they did the borders and the back of the cards are all within the same color, and then you've kind of got that touch of the like dusty lavender within the cards, so it's not like the borders completely stand out to me, which I really like. Definitely, I have an issue with white borders, and you'll come to find that I have trimmed quite a few decks that have the white borders. But I mean, look how beautiful that is. The King of Pentacles. The Moon. Two of Cups. And this is a really, really good guidebook as well. It gives you tons of information, basic reading steps. Then it goes into the major arcana. It gives you, you know, a little backstory and then the meaning of the card. And then it'll show you, you know, the Magician. It'll show you the image of the actual card. Go into that. And then once you get into the minor arcana, like the Three of Wands, it'll give you the information there. And there's some notes in the back that you can do. And it gives you kind of a few spreads also that you can do. So that is the Shadowscapes Tarot. Now, the Fairy Wisdom Oracle deck and book. This is the box that it comes in. I haven't made a bag, gotten a bag for it yet, but this is the book for this one. And it's also just in black and white, and you know, it gives you a keyword, talks about the card, and gives you a chant. So like this one for the blue fairy, it says wear something blue today. Or like this one is the oldest fairy, keyword timelessness, and then gives you a chant that you can do and then something you can do for that day. So like if you drew this card, it says avoid clocks today. Don't know if this one, it has, yeah, it does have, talks about the deck in itself and a couple of readings, but I think that is pretty much it for this. But a couple pages for notes about the author and the artists. And this deck, these are the backs. This is the inside of the box. And I just got done editing this one as well. It's kind of in that kind of a aqua blue color that matches the backs of the cards. This one also is a good one to work with for the spring fairies, mermaids kind of theme if you're looking for it, because there are the ocean, like the Little Mermaid here, Home Sweet Home, dandelions. Isn't that so adorable? And then the artwork in here also is very beautiful. The ivy. You've got dragons, also fish, mushrooms, little frog, the little dormouse, the fairy. So yeah, this is another one. Oh, there's our oldest fairy dude. Phoenix for the fire element. I actually have a phoenix tattoo. Bad dragon. Look at the little baby fairy. But yeah, this is a really nice deck as well to work with for, you know, in the spring and the summer. Or just whenever you want to work with the fae. The forget-me-nots. Those are like my favorite flowers, I would have to say. Used to have them all over our yard when I was growing up in Washington. I've tried growing them here in Texas, and they have done, I have grown a few, but I think our summers just get too hot. So I'm gonna try planting some come this fall, so they'll come up like winter, early springtime. So fingers crossed that works. We shall see. I mean, and just the details on all of it, it's just beautiful. I mean, look at her. She's like a badass. She's the badass fairy. We got another with the water element with the mermaid. Always kind of like the Lover's card, I would think. I really like this card as well. If you, it's just so cool. And look, they've got like the little balancing of the rocks there. he looks like trouble. So yeah, if you work with fairies or the mermaids or even dragons, I would say, because this deck does show a lot of dragons within it. See, Jewel of the Sea. Then this would definitely be a great deck to get. Overindulgence. He's cute. And then Summer Dragon. So that is the Fairy Wisdom Oracle. Now this one is called the Magical Times Empowerment Cards. And I've had this deck for quite a long time. I have it sitting on my altar all the time. Whenever I sit down at my altar, whether it be once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, and whenever I feel like I need to draw a card from it, then I do. I do it at least once a week, but if I sit down at my altar more than once during the week, then I just kind of intuitively know whether I need to put that card back and draw another one or not. But this is what the backs originally looked like. Okay. Now, when we flip through the deck, you will realize that the backs of these cards do not match whatsoever of any of the artwork. I'm not sure how this back was decided on. So I knew for myself that if I did not reback them, then I would never use the deck. And I love the artwork of the actual deck. So I did. So I rebacked them, and there's 3 different ones. I went with this one, this paper, and then I think there's just a couple with that paper. So since I backed them, and I just used Mod Podge and scrapbooking paper to back them. So since I did back them, the deck is a bit chunkier than what they originally were. So there's no way that they're fitting back into that box. But the artwork is beautiful on the box, so I still keep the box. You get just your basic little white guidebook, and it goes through there. So these are all the different words within the deck. And there are 44 cards in this deck. So it just kind of goes through. That's about, I don't know, it doesn't even really, just ending comment. And it kind of does give you like the single card, 3 card, and 5 card spreads that you can do. So anyways, so that was the back, and these are my new backs. But let's go through the artwork. And you'll notice right away that it has nothing to do with those. It does give you the keyword that you look up in the guidebook, and then it kind of gives you a little saying down here. So this one's friendship. Be with the ones who make you shine, who love you and really care. Keep those and let the others go. So if you look up friendship in the guidebook, it kind of gives you kind of like an affirmation for you. So it says, today I open myself to have the companions and friends I want and deserve in my life. I know true friends are the ones who weave magic into my days and bring out the best in me. But the other ones, the false friends, I will see them for who they are and let them go. I now choose the company of those who know I am valuable, lovable, and worthy, for I am. So that's kind of what your affirmation would be for the day. So, but the artwork is just beautiful. And it does, it has, to me, it has definitely the fairy feel to it with nature. There's different animals. There's dragons. See the rebirth, the phoenixes. Dolphins, different flowers. You got the little hummingbird here. But yeah, I would say if also if you're looking for, you know, just kind of an affirmation deck, and you like drawing a card every once in a while, or you draw one every day or every morning or at night, this is a very lovely, lovely deck to have in your collection. You just may not like that, like the backings, and have to back it like I did in something. See a little dragonfly with the fairy on there. And it does have some like archangels. But I think those are like the only two. And, oh, funny story. The prosperity cards. I was getting a monthly subscription, and in one of the boxes, I got this card, and that's how I ended up with this deck, because I was like, I loved this artwork. I loved the little saying at the bottom, and so I had to get the deck. So that's how I ended up with the Magical Times Power cards. Isn't that cute? Humor. Little cat fairy. So that is the Magical Times Empowerment deck. Now this deck, the Mystic Fairy Tarot, I've had this a while, and if you notice that the writer of this book is also the same writer, the Barbara Moore of the Shadowscapes tarot deck as well. So I love her writing. I know she's done some other decks as well. And this actually was the first deck that I ever bought myself. I do have another deck that I didn't buy it. My mom probably bought it for me, I'm guessing, when I was in high school. And then throughout the years, I wasn't into tarot or anything in the witchcraft community, nothing. I was a mom of 4, and when I decided, when I was back on my path, anyways, I figured out what that deck was, and that'll be in an upcoming video, so you'll have to come back to see that. But this is the Mystic Fairy Tarot, and it goes through, and it kind of is a like nice flowing story throughout the whole deck with the majors and the minors. It kind of talks about the cards, and then it does have some spreads here in the back. Lily Pond, Fairy Ring, the Love Me Not Daisy spread, and your birthday sunflower spread, rose petals. So it does have some readings, and so like the Chariot, it'll show the card, and then it'll kind of go into a little bit of the story, and then it'll give you your message. And then once you get into the minors, it has the card here, gives you the little story, and then your message. So now I do know that there are 2 versions of this deck. The other, oops, I think I just bumped the camera again. I do know that the other version is borderless, and the images are more zoomed in from what mine is. Now, it also comes with these that you're supposed to use. The Fairy Greeting, which you say before you start using, shuffling the deck, or however you do your own readings. And then it also has a farewell. So those are really cute. These are the backs. Really lovely. Nice green. But this is a beautiful deck as well. But mine is the version that has the borders. These borders don't bother me either, because they kind of blend into all of the artwork and match the borders that are on the backs. But this again is also a beautiful deck. It has the fairies, animals. It's got mermaids in here. But it kind of goes through a cute little story. It's got dragons. But the artwork is absolutely stunning. Lots of little mushrooms, cool looking fairies, flowers, the Empress, the Hanged Fae. Oops. But yeah, I really have enjoyed this deck. I've had this deck now probably about 4.5 years. Which is kind of hard to believe that it's honestly been that long, but it has. Some days it feels like it, some days it doesn't. Queen of Cups. You know, and within each suit, there's kind of like a theme, a color theme, and a little story that goes along with it all. Oh, isn't that stunning? The sun with the little baby pig. The lovers. So that is the Mystique Fairy Tarot. This is the Fairy Oracle deck. Now, to be quite honest, I'm not sure why I got this deck. Maybe because it was the fairy. I'm not sure. I think I have only used this deck maybe twice at the very most. This is the backs, which is beautiful. And this is the book that it comes with. I think it has it in different languages. So it just kind of gives a brief thing with each card. It has how many cards are in this? 36. I just can't get into the artwork, I think. So I don't know. Has anyone else used this deck, and what are your thoughts on it? I don't know if it's because of the colors in the artwork, because they're very muted and kind of dull. The cards are a bit semi-shiny, which that doesn't really detract me. I really think that it is the colors of this deck. So this deck may be finding a new home at some point. I don't know. Maybe I should try working with it some more, but we shall see. You know, and I think another thing that it gives you the number here at the bottom, but not a word or any, you know, keyword or anything to that nature, just so you're able to look it up in the book. You know, she's the one who's on the cover there. So yeah, so that is the Fairy Oracle. Let me know if you have this deck. Have you used it? Do you like it? Not like it? How does it read for you? I'd be curious to know. Now, this deck is the Spirit of Flowers Tarot. And I do believe that this deck is out of print. My book is very very old and falling apart. It just has your basic little white book that comes with it. It has, these are the backs. The backs are so lovely and like vintage looking to me. And it just kind of gives you other cards, I guess, that were done by this company. But that's the one side, and then the Spirit of Flowers Tarot is on this side. Yeah, this poor box has had better days for sure. But it has the, it has the fairies, and then it also has the flowers on it, which is why I got it. And it's very childlike with the little fairies. Little daffodils. So it's a fun, very inner child's playful kind of deck. Oh, the snail. Yeah, and with this deck, it's got those white borders, but it's got all the wording on here that I just really didn't want to get rid of any of that. So just kind of go with it. The little crocus. And that is the Spirit of Flowers Tarot. And I will show you one other deck that I just got done trimming and edging. It's the Stolen Child Tarot. I haven't used this deck that much either, but after trimming it and edging it this past weekend, I think I'm definitely going to start working with it here soon. It kind of gives me the feels of that new show that's the inside. So you have to scan the QCR for the book, and which you can then order the book or just have the PDF. But this deck reminds me, and I've only watched the first episode of, it's a Netflix original. It's called The Sweet Tooth, and it's very cute. So this deck kind of reminds me of that. Anyways, you get, this is the backs, and this is what the size was originally, and I cut it down. So you get 2 extra cards with this deck, but it's kind of just more like artwork for me. But yeah, so these are the backs, and I did edge it in kind of a dark green, kind of almost like the same color as my table here. but it's just very childlike, and it's got animals. It's got stuff for, like, you know, the ocean as well. Just a very, very fun deck. I think I am gonna probably end up ordering the hardback guidebook, because it was only like $7.50, I think it said. So I have to look into that a little bit more. But I mean, look how cute. A little frog. If you can hear him meowing, that would be Nico. He is outside the door, not very happy with me locking him out of the room. I'll have to show him to you sometime here on camera. I mean, look how cute that is. Oh, and the High Priestess. Love that card. Then you've got, you know, the different suits too. So I have to figure out, I know brine is water. I think oak is going to be swords. Zephyrs would be wands. Or yeah, I guess the brine is cups. Sorry. And flame. I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Do you know? Do you have this deck? Have you worked with it? Strength with buffalo. Actually, a couple months ago, when we were at a Renaissance festival, I actually bought 3 buffalo teeth and made a necklace out of them. It's really cool. I mean, how cute is that? A little squirrel gathering up all their acorns. The little lovers. The Knight of Zephyrs. Oh, the owl. So cool. So that is the Stolen Child Tarot. In case any of you were curious about that deck, because I don't really see this one talked about too much. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I was late to the game and getting the deck. Not sure. But it is a beautiful deck, one that I'm definitely going to be working with a lot more. And having some of my ginger peach turmeric herbal tea. It's really good. But I will cut it short here because this video is already super long. So if you stayed to the end, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And remember to always be kind to others, but most importantly, always be kind to yourself. Until next time, bye-bye.